Welcome to this lesson. So we've been looking at the step-by-step algorithm of our tic-tac-toe AI game. So we've come to the fourth step, that is the box click function. So every time the human player clicks a box, we need to perform a series of tests before letting our program draw an X on that box. Okay, so the X is for the human player, right? So first of all, we need to check if the box is already filled and if the game is still live, that is, if the game isn't over yet. So we also need to check whether the game is a draw or if the human player wins by playing this round using the winner check function that we created earlier. So we'll be calling the winner check function after the human player's turn to check if the human player wins after this turn or not. And if the human player doesn't win, we need to check if the game has become a draw. That is, if all the turns were played and no one has won, then it's a draw. So that's what we'll be checking after we call the winner check function and we don't get an answer that says the human player has won. So we'll be doing all of that in this step. This is the step or the function that relates the human player's turn in this particular game. So this is the function that allows the human player to play our game. Okay? So now for the step 5, that is checking for empty boxes. Every time the AI plays, which is after the human plays, because the AI is going to be O by default in our code, so you can change this if you want. So every time before the AI plays, we'll be calling the empty boxes function, which will check which boxes are empty in this particular state. This function is a prelude to the minimax function because based on the array generated at this state, the minimax function will draw its game tree. We've already talked about how the game tree is drawn and everything in a previous lesson, so please refer to that. So that's why it's a prelude to the minimax function, because the minimax function needs to know which boxes are empty before it can draw its game tree, right? So this is a very important function. So it'll run through all of the boxes and it'll check which ones are free, and then it will create an array and fill the index number of the boxes that are free in this particular array. So this array will be sent to our minimax function later on. Whenever it calls, it will send this particular array after it fills the array with the necessary information. So that's the empty boxes function. Finally, for step 6, we've come to the meat of everything. We'll be creating the minimax and the AI player functions. So when it's the AI player's turn, we'll be calling the play AI function. This function in turn will call the minimax function to check the optimal next move for the player. Now the minimax function will allow the minimax algorithm that we saw in the earlier modules to come up with the best possible next move that will ensure that the AI player wins or at least the game is a draw. Okay, so it'll select a best move in such a way that the AI player never loses after selecting that move. So then the AI player will be asked to make the move, which will be reflected on the screen, after which we'll be calling the winner check function to see if the AI player has won after this move or if the game has ended in a draw. If not, the game will continue as usual with the next move. So these are the steps for creating our app. I've explained all of them in English in simple words. And in the next lesson, let's start converting this algorithm to code, to actual JavaScript code, so that we can translate the English instructions to a language that our browser understands. That is, that a machine, which is our computer, browser, all of these are machines, to a language that machines understand, which is obviously coding. So I'll see you in the next module. Thank you.